Good, awesome morning, everybody. You know, when the alarm went off and I got up this morning, I thought, oh man, it's just too early. I got to get up and go feed everybody. Everybody's hungry. Everybody's got to eat. Well, I'm glad I came out because it's cloudy and there's evidence that there were a few raindrops that came down. But once again, there's no evidence of it now. You see, I have a built-in weather detector on my head. There's no rain coming down right now, I can tell you that. The clouds are breaking up. It is going to be another gorgeous day, and it is right now. But as I thought about, I got to get up. I have to go feed everybody. Do you ever notice how your mind wanders from one topic to another, until you are nowhere near where you were when you started? It's a little bit like our Thursday morning Bible studies, where we are intentionally studying the Gospel of Matthew, and we end up somewhere in Revelation. You know, it just is kind of crazy. Your mind just wanders. It just drifts away from here to here. And okay, wait a minute. Just before you say anything else, I understand. Some of you are thinking right now, Pastor, we know you. We've heard your sermons. We know how that happens to you all the time. Yes, my mind does drift. Well, this morning it was drifting a little bit everywhere. Part of that drifting had to do with thinking about having to feed the animals, how they had to eat, and here I am now up here giving the chickens a little treat. It's a morning treat. I feed them some corn so that they can have a little bit of fun with the corn, and I also give some to the ducks too. But I started thinking about Holy Communion, believe it or not. Holy Communion, how something that we haven't been able to do together as a congregation, and how that is so essential for us, gathering together. I like that word. That word essential showing up everywhere now, isn't it? And it is essential because it binds us together as one. And that's something our gospel lesson for today talks about, the unity. It shows that we are one in Christ. And I miss that. I miss that dearly. I can hardly wait till we get together and do it again. But Holy Communion, bread, breaking bread. That's when Jesus did it, right? He was breaking the bread, and he gave it to his disciples and said, "Take and eat. This is my body." And then you think about that whole aspect of it too, where this is my body, this is my blood given for you. The willingness of Jesus to go the distance, the willingness of Jesus to sacrifice his very life for you and for me. And then, believe it or not, my mind drifted off to what this weekend is all about. It's Memorial Day weekend. Tomorrow is, actually it's not until the end of May, but this is the long weekend that we celebrate, Memorial Day. And those who were willing to lay down their lives, those who were willing to put their lives on the line for you and for me, so that we can enjoy the freedoms that we do in this country. And no, we're not going to get into all the arguments about this war, that war, which one was justified, the atrocities that might have happened. You know what? There's a lot of bad stuff that happens because of war, and we need to talk about it, and we need to be serious about why war is such an awful, horrible thing. But my thoughts were going toward the sacrifices that people made for you and for me. And then it just drifted off to another silly thing. What kind of sacrifices do we make for each other right now? And that doesn't mean going off to war, giving up our our rights, being as many in my family were drafted into the service and willingly left that behind to go and do a duty for us. You know, what do we do right now? What kind of sacrifices do we make for one another so that we can simply live the free life that we claim that we have in this country? The free life that we do have in this country. And whatever rules and regulations are imposed on us, you know, yeah, we can argue and bicker about those. That's what politics is all about. But at the same time, they are put there in order to order our society and to keep us safe. Keep us safe. Hey, come on. I just sent my tax form off a little over a month ago. I'm sure you did yours either then or earlier. Nobody wants to pay those taxes. Nobody does. But those taxes are put into a pot that is for the common good. It's for the common good. But not taxes, just about what we do all the time, you and me. What kind of sacrifices do we make? What kind of sacrifices are we asked to make right now to keep one another safe and healthy? You know, when the mask thing first came out, I didn't like it. I'm sure you didn't like it, and a lot of other people didn't like it. But I see it as the loving thing to do in our world. Because we're not putting that mask on to keep ourselves safe, although it does help. But they've shown that it's not the best way. The 6 feet social distancing thing is really the best thing to do. No, that mask is there to keep other people safe. Because right now, here I am standing before you, and you're safe because you're viewing this virtually. But if we were face to face, who knows? I could have the coronavirus and be giving it to you right now and not knowing it. With my mask on, I would reduce the chances of doing that significantly. But that's just one example of things that we do willingly, how we sacrifice, how we inconvenience ourselves just a little bit because we care for one another. To me, that is the Christian thing to do. That is the loving thing to do. That is the Christ-like thing to do. Jesus, who willingly got down on his hands and knees and washed feet. Jesus, who willingly went to the cross because it was the loving thing to do. What about you and me? What's so hard about putting on a mask? What's so hard about staying 6 feet away from others? What's so hard and difficult about just waiting a little bit longer to have a mass gathering before we can once again break bread together? And even though that might look a little bit different for the interim period, at least it will be a time where we can get together and say, we love each other, we care for each other, we are going to show the love of Jesus not only to one another, but to the world we live in. Well, as always, I gotta finish feeding these guys, or they're gonna get a little upset with me. God bless you. Have a wonderful Memorial Day weekend.